Today I'm making some changes to Buildium's voice AI app. Now, last video, I built this whole app where you could basically tap to speak and it would help you create tasks on Buildium. And then I realized, what if someone who's trying to use it is just not technical enough to make an API call and get their user ID? So today I want to make it simpler so that anyone can just enter their keys and get a list of users so they can select themselves from that list and just make things a little bit easier. So one, quality of life improvement. Once I do that, we'll do another test run and see how it goes. So I'm logging into Buildium right now. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure that my credentials are still here. And for the record, I changed the base URL from the sandbox environment to the production environment. So anyone who opened this app and the link that I shared in the last video could just use it. Now, I published it and has it had 56 visitors? What? In just the last 7 days? Huh. That's interesting. How did it get so many? Wow. Okay, and anyways, I bought a domain for this app. It's buildiumai.app. So now if anyone wants to use it, you can just go to this URL and you can just start playing with it. So here's a demo. There you go. Test it out. It's the same thing. Now I'm just looking at the the development environment where I can make actual edits. Now I wanna, with the help of Lovable, get a list of the users. So here we go. We have a challenge. Okay, so basically what I've done is given a context about what the challenge is when finding your user ID. There's plenty of users, vendors, even third-party software. I ran a query to see how many users we had. And I mean, it's just dozens. So even if, actually, no, it can be, I've seen this list be very, very long. I don't really know exactly what the number is, but I'm just looking at my sandbox environment, which is just mock-up data, and there are 246 lines now. That doesn't mean there's 246 users, because each user may represent 22 lines. But considering that is the case and every user represents 22 lines of code, we could have at least a dozen users in the sandbox environment. I've looked at real production environments and the lines could be hundreds or more. So what does that mean? When we are trying to extract the user ID, if we just pull all the users from the API, it's going to give us a large list. And we just want to make sure that we're pulling the real team members. So I'm going to filter the user type by staff. And that should be people that are actually working in our team. Let me give this context to Lovable, see what it does with it. And also, I like to toggle or just switch between sandbox and production environments back and forth, because now I'm launching this app in production for anyone to use. And also, what's the thing I'm thinking about here? I don't want it to mess up when I'm working on making improvements. I want it to stay working while I make changes. So I'm going to do that. I'm just going to hit send and let it think about it. Now, I wonder, the only challenge would be if anyone wants to assign tasks to a user who is not a staff user type, then we would need to change the filtering and perhaps add more. For now, in order to keep things simple, we'll just leave it as is. But in the future, if anyone's struggling, we can create like a filter button where you can look up users by their type. So if they are staff or if they're a rental owner, so rental owners show up in this list. I believe vendors as well, but I'm not sure what their user type is stored as in the API. So we'll just give it a few seconds to finish loading. All right, this is loaded. It made the changes that I wanted. So now we can switch back and forth between sandbox and production. Let's hit load staff users from Buildium. So there's an error, of course. What's the error? Show logs. Runtime. Authentication failed. Please check your client ID. Okay. I'm sure it must be, okay, I know why. So maybe I was in the wrong environment. No, edge function. Show logs. authentication failed. So, okay. I was thinking maybe because I was still using the sandbox credentials in the production environment, that could have hit an error, but it seems there's something else. Oh, look. Yes, of course, of course. So I did make an API call from the production environment using the sandbox keys. It seems that it's now going to try and fix it by separating each set of keys by environment. Cool. Wait. So two things to fix. Credentials that match the selected environment. If you're testing with to use production, generate production API credentials in your life. Okay. Okay, let's just hit it again. And authentication failed. Please check your client ID and secret. Interesting. Perhaps I accidentally pasted something else in the keys. Now, why? Try to fix. So that's not difficult thing when you can normally look at the code. It's very easy to see why it's failing, what's really going wrong there. I'm not sure if maybe it's calling a different base URL, so perhaps it could be that the sandbox toggle is calling the production environment right now. Okay, Buildium, not the edge function. So yeah, switch the environment toggle to sandbox if those keys are in sandbox keys. Yes. Wait, I am going back to sandbox. So I am in sandbox. I'm saving the keys. So I am in the sandbox. I've saved the keys and it is still giving an error. Not sure if sandbox is using the correct base URL, and it seems toggling between environments doesn't replace keys. Ideally, we want to switch between environments and keep keys separated. Perfect. Let's see what it does now. It generated a plan to separate the credentials. Now it's saying then it will wire environment-specific details and improve settings clarity. Okay, that's good. Hopefully this fixes it, because I'm pretty sure things are getting mixed up. I definitely have the same keys. I just pasted the client secret again. The thing is I can't really see because it's all encoded, but I pasted it again and that didn't seem to do the trick. Done. Sandbox and production now keep separate Buildium keys, and task creation stat lookup use the select environments matching. I think that was it. It was just maybe using the same base URL for making this API call. So let's try now. Why? It's giving me an error again. No way. It looks like the load staff users from Buildium is using the wrong base URL. It rejects my keys, but they are legit for the sandbox. Okay, added load staff and logging. Now please click load staff users again, then I can check the function logs to confirm exactly which base URL and environment are being sent. In the meantime, to likely culprits, settings not saved or list forms current client ID, client signal line, whatever is typed in there. Okay, well, let's give it another go. Yep, no, nothing. I'll try refreshing the page. Settings, load, nope. Check the logs. I still get this. Oh my. Oh my. Yeah, there's no way. There's no way this is failing. I mean, there is a way this is failing. I know why. It's up to Lovable to fix it now. But it seems to be a little bit stubborn, and I don't know what else it was trying to do, because I really know it's the base URL right now. I gave it the correct endpoint, though. It's v1/users. I'll verify the latest function logs and inspect the proxy. So it's cool it can review the function logs. So that's good. It can review it. Now, I wonder if I can review them as well. So we have access to the files, analytics code. Okay. And I can edit the code directly, so that's cool. Okay, look at all we have here. All right. View user data and configure how users sign up. So I can apparently help people sign up. Okay. So that would make things easier actually. We just enabled user sign up with authentication, because then you would be able to just create an account and store your credentials, still preferably locally, and your API key as well. That way you can use this across devices, and just like for other purposes as well. For example, not everyone's going to create a Claude API account, or like a whatever that platform's called, because yeah, you have to get on there, register, fill in some information, generate your API keys. If you don't know a lot about tech, that I can see why that's complicated, and perhaps it's easier to just pay with a credit card on the dashboard. So just add your details and then you get billed by however many credits you use. That would be a nice thing to add. I'm not going to do that right now, though. I want to make sure that this is fixed and it's working. I'll verify the latest function. Yes, please do that. So it's still reading and thinking while it does it. Files, payments. So yeah, because we can now accept payments through Lovable. Makes things so much easier. AI usage. Okay. Nice. Emails. All right. It has a lot of new features. They've really done a good job at improving everything. Lovable API key, so add secret securely, save sensitive information like API keys. Now, I don't know if this is for app development or for the app itself for using it. Add functions. Yeah, it seems like it. It seems like it's for running the app. Here are the logs I was just talking about. Okay, logs confirm sandbox is being used. I updated the proxy. Exactly, it's hidden between white space from credentials. Okay, maybe it was incorrectly using the user types in the API call, and that could have made it fail. Usage. Okay. All right. So secrets, edge function. Yeah, that'd be nice if we can track usage and just help people pay with a card and just bill by the however many credits you're consuming. That makes things so much easier. Okay, load staff. Wow, again. Okay, I gotta get in the logs and review this thing. So we have analytics, not analytics. Wait a minute. Preview. Oh my. Logs. Edge logs. Yeah. Okay, here's it. So method get path storage v1 bucket. Now this is going somewhere else, isn't it? It seems like. SQL editor. Let's go back to the code. Functions index. Okay, so what else do we have here? Show me the API requests body and URL. If we look this in the code, it should come up somewhere. Interesting. Now I'm really curious about using these settings. Storage, secrets, like all this seems pretty cool. The keys are correct. Now here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna use client ID, and I'm gonna store it as a variable that's sensitive, so save secret, save. Okay, so I've saved them as secrets. It seems you exposed them by reading them to me. In fact, they were exposed already. The fact that it just read them confirmed the fact that they were at risk. Now, let's see what it does now. I'm beginning to think of a different alternative, there's another approach I can take at solving this because it seems like it just doesn't really know why it's failing. So you're right. I apologize for echoing those values back. So yeah. The credentials in the request did not come from your safe level secrets. Yes. So refactor the edge function to read. Yes. Keep the current per user local storage flow, but add redaction in logs. I recommend A. So refactor the edge function to read client ID. Keep the current per user local storage flow, but add redaction in logs. Per user local storage flow, but add redaction in logs. I don't know what that means. So if I store the keys in secret, does that mean anyone using the app can has access to these keys? Now I have to read the documentation, right? This is normally not a question you just want to make to the AI, but again, because we're just building in a sandbox environment, I feel like this is okay. I'm suspicious, and I believe that if I store the keys in the secrets and anyone just uses the app, even if we enable user authentication, they'll be using these keys. Because now they're stored in the cloud rather than them being called locally. So you either, yeah, see, storing them as level secrets is a safer option. Secrets live only on the server. Edge functions are never sent to the browser. Yes, compared to, so it seems like, yes, everyone would be making API calls by using these API keys. No, so each user brings their own keys. They are stored locally for now. We can talk about moving them to a safer place in the future. One, share Buildium account. You're the only one with credentials, so I have users create. Yes, Exactly. That'd be the best scenario. Keep local storage flow, but I'd add a server-side per user encrypted store instead of sending keys on every request. So let's actually just go with option 2. Option 2, because we don't want to share an account. We just want to make sure that the keys are stored safely. Now I remember that this issue is still not fixed, right, for whatever reason too. So here's a plan for option 2, per user, We are really just getting off track with all this right now. I don't like this. I don't like this. That's not the point. We are not about to enable user authentication just yet. So no, put this in the back burner. And help me fix the load staff users from Buildium button. Let's see if it has finally fixed the bug. It did some stuff here. Okay, there we go. There we go. Amazing. This is so cool. So it is now filtering by staff user type. All right, cool. So we can now just select a user to assign tasks, and that's cool. That's cool. All right, and if we switch to production, you'll see that the keys are kept separately. So now they're not interchanging across environments. That's super nice. So remove, remove the manual entry of user ID and keep the drop down. So that way we don't accidentally change it, especially because it has these buttons here, which can lead to accidents, and it just makes it much more simple. I would also like to just move this maybe into a different section, like when creating a task. So let's just give it a quick go. Hello, I need you to create a task for 123 Main Street. Okay. I need you to create a task for 123 Main Street. Okay, cool. Office to do, inspection notes. Okay. Switching to, so as I'm using the app, you notice it's still making changes here. So that's nice. Again, so it's done it. It is done loading staff users, and then I can just switch in between users, save settings. So it's always going to create this for myself. Now tap to speak. I want it to do something else. Tasks. I want to select the category of the task. I believe it's already doing this. Hello, this is a test. So type, office to do, inspection note, maintenance request. Okay. Personal reminder or inspection note. Okay. So there are different task types per Buildium's documentation, right? Some of them are out of the box. Others can be created. So you can just create your own categories. In the sandbox, I see a lot of them. Resident requests, requested by user entity, title, task type. So rental tenant, well, task resident request. Okay, yeah, there's so many of them. But I wonder what's going to happen if I change the type, because I don't think these are actual real tasks. Priority normal, sending, task created. And this is what we would see in Buildium. So tasks, my tasks. Okay, type office. Okay, so it's just adding it in the description of the task. That's cool. But it is uncategorized in the task category. So you see there are two things. I think it may have mixed up the context when we were giving it the instructions regarding the different categories of tasks. Instead of using the proper ID in the parameter where it normally goes in order to select a category, it just created an item in the description as text. So office to do, personal reminder. This is cool. I like how this is going so far. All right. I was reading a little bit about Lovable Cloud, and they have this feature where they make it easier for you to connect with AI providers. So you forget about managing keys and all that, which is not complicated for me, but I can think why a lot of people would have issues just bringing their own keys, managing usage, and I want to make this more simple and more accessible for people. So if you're interested in this, let me know. I would love to build it. I just want to make sure this is the right thing to do and that there's actually many people out there who need it. Maybe if it's only one, if it just makes the life of one person easier, I'll do it. And what's cool about it as well is that you can track usage quota. So there's also a risk involved in you being the provider of the API key. So if I buy it, if I pay for it and then I sign up a bunch of users, there's always risk of abuse, right? So there's bad actors out there who are always trying to exploit apps, steal keys, etc. And that can get me into a lot of trouble because it can run up a pretty high bill. But it seems from what I'm reading here that it simplifies that part. Now, I don't see more documentation. It's really just one website, but I'll dig into it a little bit more because I'm personally curious about it, but it would help. It would make things so much easier. Maybe I need to update some of the code because this relies on Anthropic right now. So I'm pretty sure that some of the, some code of the app will have to change, certainly. And I wonder what the mottos are going to be when using voice with Google, and it also lets you use OpenAI, but I love Google Gemini more than I love OpenAI. So to wrap up this video, I'll hit publish, and as easy as that, it's up and running for anyone to try. So it's buildiumai.app with a double P, and you can now visit those website and check it out for yourself. Cheers.